Donald Trump was talking with the president of Liberia, and he was in a complimentary mood. And that unfortunately didn't go much better than when he's feeling ready for conflict. Take a look.
We want to work with the United States in peace and security within the region because we are committed to that. And we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you in such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. That's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well.
Yeah, one of them just said that. So, president of Liberia, Trump, immediately distracted by the fact that he speaks like a human. You can. It's who trained you to do that? So look, I don't expect every random person to know anything about Liberia, but where do you think we're going with this? Why do you think he speaks such good English in Liberia? Because it's the official language. Because I don't know. Again, you don't have to know that. I'm not expecting a random person on YouTube to know that. There's no reason for you to know that. But Donald Trump is the president. He's an elderly man, one of the smartest geniuses in the world, I'm often told by MAGA, and he has no idea about that or why. Why would English be the official language of Liberia? Is it that maybe there's some historic connections between the United States and Liberia that you could have the faintest inkling of? But he doesn't. He doesn't because he can't imagine. And so he says, where did you learn that? By the way, let's say hypothetically, it wasn't their official language. Maybe it's French or something like that, another product of colonialism. Maybe in a country where it's not the official language, he still learned to speak it beautifully there. Because they have linguists, but it can't be that. It can't be that because it's Africa. So it's not possible that anybody knows anything there. Clearly you went to France or you went to the UK or somewhere else, maybe New York City. And anyway, look, again, this isn't the most consequential thing. At least, this isn't about him being bribed or something, but it showcases a concrete example of the fact that racism, like baked in deep racism and bigotry, is a mental illness. It makes you incapable of processing information around you and makes you look like the dumbest of donkeys. And so none of his supporters care about this. They don't care anymore about Liberia or Senegal or anything like that than Donald Trump does. But I think, David, you've been following politics for a long time. If this had been George W. Bush, or if this had been Joe Biden, or George H.W. Bush or something, this would be the biggest embarrassment for months, right?
Yeah, and the White House chief of staff would have fired whoever briefed the president and didn't include the information about, hey, by the way, this is how they speak. When I've covered the White House years ago, we were told that when a president meets with a foreign leader, and it differed a little bit, but basically there was somebody who would provide a briefing who would specifically say, this person's English is their mother tongue, or it's their second language. It may be a little difficult to understand, or we're gonna use an interpreter. And here's a 3x5 card with a couple of basic facts about the country. And so the president knew whether the communication with that foreign leader was gonna be very easy or difficult, or whether they'd have to use an earpiece. For Donald Trump, this underscores his total laziness, because I guarantee that even in the Trump administration, even in the Trump White House, there are people there who can provide these briefings and give them this information if Donald Trump is open to receiving it. But I have a feeling Donald Trump's like, I'm too busy. I don't want to be bothered. I'm just gonna go in and meet with them. And as a result, it shows his contempt, his racism, and his total laziness. And in no other White House would this ever be tolerated.
No, it would be, but they don't care. And the supporters don't care. Nobody cares. It's so utterly embarrassing. And again, I'm not, just like with the first story, not reporting this because I think this is objectively one of the most important stories or whatever, or even one of the most embarrassing stories. Donald Trump will do more embarrassing things before the day is done. It's sort of like, let's just acknowledge how sad it is that we shouldn't get too worked up about this sort of stuff, because why would we have any higher standards for Donald Trump or for the White House or for the US government anymore? Why would we expect a senator to know what's going on? Why would we expect anything of anybody at this point? And that's ultimately what is just so pathetic. I hate it. I want to be able to have high standards. I want the best of us to be in charge of us. And we have the worst with the lowest expectations. a powerful black man stops talking to him, and the first thing he thinks to say is, wow, you're such a good speaker. Oh, you were like days away from dropping a Shylock in conversation. And then when people bring up like, hey, that's kind of anti-Semitic. He says, I didn't know that. I had no idea. People I talk with use it all the time, I suppose. It's just such normalized, casual anti-Semitism, racism, all of this stuff. And it's so pathetic.